The salt cat does not approve of your videos. Hey, hey, hey. Hello, I'm back. Guys, I've had a really stressful week. I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to try and move my camera a little bit here. Hang on. Whoa, whoa. Camera. Yeah, like I have a camera. iPhone 4S that's barely working. Okay, so I've had quite an interesting week. It's been like half stressful and half really good. It's the adulting half of the week that's been really stressful. I really hate being an adult. It sucks. I hate it. It sucks. One of those stressful things that happened to me this week, mail. If there's any other adult out there in the world that hates getting mail, I feel you. It stresses me out so much. Like every time I see a brown envelope with my name on it, I'm like, oh Christ, what the hell? What is it? Who wants me for something? So stressful. Turned out a lot of the mail wasn't that stressful. It was, some bits and pieces about, do you want a credit card? Because I'm responsible enough to handle a credit card, clearly. And, other stuff like that. But it really, really freaks me out when I get mail. And I think one of the reasons for this is a lot of years back, I'd moved out of the house and I moved into another house. And my mum moved into the same street, like literally the next door house. Sidebar, once you've moved out of home, don't move back home. Don't move next door to your parents. Don't do it to yourself. It's not worth it, because they automatically just assume that you've moved back in with them. And I came downstairs in my house one morning to discover that my mum had put an intercom system between our two houses. And she used to just buzz me in the mornings and be like, Suze, can you put the kettle on? And I'd be like, I'll live with you. Anyway, so yeah. When we lived next door to each other, I actually was working two jobs, and a lot of the times I ended up having to stay at a friend's house because I don't drive and I couldn't get home to my house because it was so late at night, there was no bus. And she used to do me a favour that I hadn't asked her to do this, but she used to collect my mail for me. And I went into her one day and was like, I haven't had any like electricity bills or anything in a while. Do you have any of that stuff of mine? And she went into her cupboard under the stairs and she pulled out, literally no joke, this enormous big brown envelope full of my mail. And there was like, red letter bills and stuff in there being like, you have like no days left to pay this, we're going to cut off your electric. And I was like, oh shit, this is really stressful. And I had to ring all these people and be like, I'm going to pay my bills. I literally had to tell them what had happened, and they were all really good and I paid my bills. Because I had the money to pay it, that wasn't a problem, but I just had no bills to pay, I wasn't getting them. So now when I get mail, it really freaks me out because that was such a stressful thing to happen. Plus a lot of stuff doesn't really come by mail these days unless it's important. A lot of stuff's done by email. That's more official now than it ever used to be. So if you get like stuff in the mail, it can be like, oh, it's really official, what if it's bad, oh no. So yeah, I had a lot of mail gathered this week and I was like, right, gotta open my mail. So I've opened my mail and it's okay, it's fine. I'm not in any trouble or anything like that. It's all just usual adult bills and nonsense and stuff like that. And I was relieved afterwards, but it took me like 3 days to get to the point where I was going to open the mail. I was so stressed out. Like, am I the only person who suffers with that? So bad. I'm like such a ridiculous adult, it's not even funny. Another adulty thing that I've been dealing with this week is job applications, because as I've stated before, I'm unemployed now. So I've sent off like 7 or 8 job applications this last week and I'm waiting to hear back from any of those, and that's pretty stressful as well because it's like there's not an awful lot that I'm qualified for, if I'm being honest with you. And one of my life goals is to go back to college and gain more qualifications to enable me to find better jobs and do slightly more well-paid work. Because sort of relying on the system of working in shops and stuff like that these days, there's not an awful lot going and everything's minimum wage, and after a while that becomes really, there's not an awful lot that you can really do in that scenario. You're basically living on the bottom of the heap the whole time, and I want to do better, I want to do more, and I think I'm finally at a point in my life where I'll do better without, being like, I can do that essay the night before, that's totally fine. It's probably not fine. And I'm starting to believe that myself now, so like I do want to do that. But so I'm waiting to hear back, fingers crossed for me that I get something, even if it's just something to keep me ticking over until I can, go back and get better qualifications and stuff like that. So yeah, that's another thing that's kind of been stressing me out in the adult world this week. So to counteract all that adulty stress, I still had one final payment left to come through wage-wise for my last job. So I went out and treated myself to some things, probably my last treat before Christmas comes. And I mentioned this in my last video that I got some cool stuff. So I got this jumper that I'm wearing, which you can't see, but it does say, in my house, every day is Halloween. True, look at that wall behind me. Halloween, all the time, every day, even at Christmas. Another thing that I got was this hat. Look at this, look how awesome this is. This goes over your head and turns your face into a little alien. I'm not going to put it on right now because I've just done my face. I'm going to go out soon. And I probably don't need, like, you know, 2 big alien circles cut out of my face when I go out to, like, look for jobs and stuff. So yeah, but look how amazing this is. I'm definitely going to do some of my videos wearing this mask in the future. That's going to happen. Just accept it. Another really cool thing that I got was monster socks. Ooh. Monster socks. I saw these. I was out shopping with a good friend the other day. We were looking for some jeans and stuff for him. So we were in Next. I never shop in Next. There's nothing in Next that really fits me, and it's not really my sort of style anyway. But we were in the men's section in Next, and monster socks. And they came in like 5 different colours. They were 12 quid for socks. I did need new socks, but usually I'm more of a like 5 pairs for like 3 quid kind of person. But I couldn't resist them, so I went and bought myself these, and yeah, so now I've got like 5 colours of monsters to play with, so I can totally mix and match. Have like a blue and a purple, or like a red and a green, or like put them together and be like, monster battle. That's not really very effective and probably only amuses myself, but I'm happy. So yeah, no, I don't really shop in Next that often, and in fact, I quite recently got out of a relationship with a guy who did shop in Next quite a bit, and I used to tease him for it all the time and tell him that he was posh and all that kind of stuff, and I was only teasing, like, if you shop in Next, that's totally your call, but he had so much stuff from Next that it really amused me, and then I found out, this just killed me at the time, his crockery set came from Next. I mean, who goes to Next to buy their crockery? It's so funny, and the plates were horrible. They were like beige and brown, like my 2 worst colours. And I was with this guy for like 6 years, and I teased him relentlessly through most of that time, and then one day he was like, okay, I need new plates because these are all starting to get really damaged and cracked and ugly, and I was like, fucking yes, let's destroy them. Let's not even just throw them in the bin, let's take them out to the alley and smash these things to bits. And we totally did. And then one of his neighbours came out and complained and was like, what are you doing? There's bits of crockery in my garden and all this, and we were like, sorry. So we had to content ourselves with just opening his bin and dropping the stuff in from a really great height to make really smashy noises, which was really good. That was a really good time. Next, good smashing on your plates. And then we got another set for him from IKEA, which were like all black, and I approved much more wholeheartedly of those. They were more my style. I also went down to this lovely little shop that's quite close to me. It does all sorts of nice garden-y things, and has like a really fancy coffee shop and all that kind of stuff, and I like to go in every now and again and just like have a little wander about. They're starting to put their Christmas shop up now, which is probably a bit too soon for most people. It's never too soon for me. I will look at Christmas stuff as soon as it comes out. I'm alright with that. I'm okay with it. I'm really into it. But I went down and they hadn't got it out yet, but all the boxes were sitting there, and I was like, gonna be good. So I had to content myself with looking through their Yankee Candle stuff. One of my friends for my birthday quite recently bought me a Yankee Candle tartlet burner, which is where you get like the flat block of wax and melt it onto what looks like one of those old, you know, those things that you used to burn oil in when you were an emo teenager in the 90s, and you'd get scented oil. It's kind of like one of those, but for candle wax. So I went down to see if they had any other tartlets, and got a good bunch of those. So that's actually where I got that hat from. So I take all the stuff up to the desk and I put it all down, and I get out my debit card to pay for everything, and the woman was like, contactless okay for you? And I kind of looked at her and I was like, oh, another example of my poor adulting skills. I was like, look, do you mind if we just do it the normal debit card way? Because I've done contactless a few times and it's really fun. You're like, boop, oh, magic. But it doesn't actually show up with my bank. It doesn't actually show up in your account because I do most of my banking online. It takes a couple of days for that to process, and I have overspent before because it hasn't come out of my account yet. And I said to her, look, do you mind if we don't? And I explained why, I told her why, and she literally just did this. Okay, sure, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. And she put it through the normal way, and I put my number in and paid for my stuff, and she was like, bye then, as though I was like maybe a little bit, you know, not very intelligent. And I was like, I thought that was a valid request. I'm not really great with maths. I'm not great with numbers. I'm okay at keeping track of my money, but I have to be really on it. Like I have to stay really on top of it because I find it really easy to overspend. I'm not really great at that kind of stuff, and I've done it before, and it could get you into a bind. Didn't want to do it again. And yeah, she was really quite condescending to me about it. She was like, okay, do you have anybody here who helps you? Kind of thing. And I was like, I think I can make this choice for myself, thanks. So paid for my stuff and came home, and then I opened the little packet of wax tartlets that I had bought, and she'd undercharged me for 2 of them, so who's the real winner here? That's what I say. So I also have a new life goal. The friend that I was shopping in next with has some future plans to move to Japan in a couple of years, and has asked me if I do find work to save up and go with him. I'm so excited to do it. I really, really want to go to Japan. There's only ever been 2 countries that I've been really excited to go to, and I've been to one of them already. That was Russia. I went there when I was 18, and it was really, really good. I really loved it there, and it wasn't like a real touristy holiday or anything like that, but we had a really good time. And the other place is Japan. I remember I used to do all my school projects and stuff on Russia and Japan because they were my 2 favourite things. So I'd really like to do that. I'd really like to, you know, get a job and save up and save up and save up and go somewhere and, you know, just see lots of the world. So my bucket list for travel at the minute is definitely Japan, which now hopefully is a couple of years away. And the other one's Norway. I really want to visit Norway because it basically just looks like a fairy tale country everywhere. And I want to go and stay in one of those little glass igloos that you can see the northern lights. But it's a really romantic kind of holiday, and I don't really want to do it all by myself. There's probably going to be loads of couples, and then me in my fleecy pajamas all alone like, hey, just here to see the lights. So we'll see how that one works out. Also got a little shout out this week to a brilliant company of historical reenactors. I think that's probably what they are, that we discovered this week. We went to a Viking Day that was put on by a group called Magnus Vikings. You can find them on Facebook. They're a Northern Irish Viking Historical Society. Now, the weather was really bad, I have to say. I felt so bad for them. The weather was so poor because it's Northern Ireland and it's like nearly October. It rained the whole day, but they stuck it out and they were really great. I had a little go at archery. Totally sucked, but it was really fun. And like the whole time I was like, everything I do it for you. Because, you know, if you're going to arch, you've got to be Kevin Costner and, you know, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Because if you don't, what are you even doing with your life, you know? And they had like all rune crafts, and they baked bread, and they made dulse butter. If you don't know what dulse is, it's horrible seaweed that gets salted and then people eat it. It's disgusting, but it was really nice in the butter. There was a guy who was like being a blacksmith, and at the very end of it they had some like battle reenactments and stuff, which were really cool. And then they had like a mock Viking burial, and they took us all down to the shore and burned a freaking boat. It was incredible. It's such a good day. So if you're in Northern Ireland and you're interested in that kind of stuff, look them up on Facebook. Magnus Vikings. Such a cool group of people. Everybody was so friendly and really lovely, and they put on a really, really good show for us. I really loved every single second of it. Love anything to do with Vikings. I think it's brilliant. So yeah, so that's basically been my week. Hopefully I'll hear back about some job stuff soon. Failing that, I am just going to retreat back into my protective shell away from the adult world and watch a lot of Jessica Jones, because Luke Cage is being released on the 30th of September on Netflix, and I'm so excited for it. So if you don't see me out in the real world, that's where I'll be, huddled in this jumper, which is enormous, in my shell. So anyway, hope you guys have a good weekend, and awkward thumbs up. Bye!